This week on Superbike Family, Larry takes his new Yamaha to Daytona for a 200-mile-per-hour race. It doesn't start out well. He totals the bike on the first day.
The only good thing about it is that it wasn't in the race.
The team rebuilds the bike from the ground up, but can the rider rebound?
That's me, Superbike racer, Larry Pegram. And I used to think that my life on the track's pretty fast. That was, of course, until all my girls came along with the support of my loving parents, plus a hand-selected crew. Keeps it fun, but is willing to do whatever it takes to win. Together, we are the Superbike family.
Larry Pegram's Superbike season has begun on a promising note. He's leased a Yamaha R1 that won the past 3 championships under Josh Hayes. Testing went well in the offseason, and the team has arrived in Daytona for the opening round full of confidence.
I think we're going to be good. You know, I anticipate that we're going to be right there. So I'm trying not to get too, you know, excited, but I want to do well.
This is a really big day for us here. This is a big moment. So Larry's got to go out there and go fast right away. I'm getting excited about it. So this is a new beginning.
I'm real happy for Larry. I think he finally got something under his butt that he can show what he's capable of doing.
The first practice sessions go well. They are 5th fastest. Last season's frustrations are becoming a distant memory.
We were second most of the session. We ended up 5th, but I never went hard. So I'm pretty happy with where we're at. You know, this afternoon will tell me a lot more of where we're at.
The afternoon is nothing short of a disaster. Entering the backstretch chicane, both ends slide out from under Larry's machine, and he totals the bike.
One thing you know as a road racer, if you crash, the first thing you want to do is get your hands off the handlebars so you don't lose a finger. And at Daytona, I crashed. I know that. I've been racing forever, but I knew that I was going to pay the bills if the thing started flipping. So I held on to it, thinking I was strong enough to hold it down, and when I got to the grass, the bike started flipping.
So I panic right off the bat. Always, I mean, no matter when they say he's down. And I get really nervous until I know that he's up and that he's talking. When that happens, then I feel, you know, if he's up and talking, then that's good.
My first thought, is he okay? You know, he was at a position I couldn't see from where I was at, and they said he was up and walking and everything, so that means he's okay. My second thought is, do we have enough parts to put this bike back together?
He was okay, which to me is the most important thing, because you can always fix the bike. But, you know, with him just starting out with the new bike, I'm sure the only thing he was thinking was, oh my God, how much is this going to cost to fix this thing? And I just started.
I think he was seeing $ signs more than he was seeing anything else, because, you know, the stuff on that bike is very expensive.
The damage is obvious and significant. It will take the crew well into the night to repair it.
The only good thing about it is that it wasn't in the race, so we could still come back.
My guys last night really worked their butts off. I mean, I can't believe how good a job they did. They basically made a whole new motorcycle for me, rebuilt it from the ground up.
My guys they're fantastic. I mean, I give them a hard time all the time, you know, and I yell at them and all that, but when it comes down to, hey, we got to do something, they get in there and do it. I mean, everybody was trying to help, and sometimes you get too many people trying to help.
It's been a long day. You know, every day I'm thinking, well, maybe tonight I'll get a little more sleep.
That's what I thought.
Either way, I didn't like hearing that he went down, because all I could think was lots of money, fix the bike. And no, that's not what I mean. Actually, delete that. I just mean for him, financially, when you crash a bike that's that expensive, it's going to cost some money to fix it.
Probably about 10,000 bucks. You know? 10,000, no problem. I tip my paper boy more than that, you know what I mean? Friday morning, I had some of my friends, basically friends/sponsors, come up to me and say, listen, quit worrying about the crash. We're gonna cover the cost, and you need to go out there and ride.
He's ready to go again today, so he's got a good outlook, and he wasn't injured, so that was good.
Look at these Yorkies, I gotta pet them. He reminds me of Peanut, I miss him. Seeing the three little dogs, you know, reminded me of Peanut. I had to go over and pet him and just got my mind off of all the bad stuff that was happening and just reminded me, you know, have some fun in life.
Come here.
Come here.
The next morning, the repair work continues, and with minutes to spare, the bike is ready to go out again. Jim Pegram tries to get Larry's head back in the game.
You just gotta put all that out of your head.
Well, yeah, but it's gonna be hard to go faster this morning when it's this cold.
Yeah. So far, nobody's even going close to what they did yesterday. I can tell him a lot of things. Does he listen to anything I tell him? No. When he was a little tiny kid, I could tell him, hey, just go out and take your time, because these guys all know that you're gonna be going slow now and everything, and that would fire him up, but he's too old for that now.
Meanwhile, Larry's wife Heather is back at the condo with the girls. While they play, her smile and lighthearted interactions with them cannot hide her concern for Larry.
Just my mind is with Larry and everything that's going on. So it's a little more nerve-wracking.
The second qualifying session goes well. Larry will start on the second row in 6th place. Yesterday's crash is a distant memory as they get ready to race in just a few hours.
Did all right qualifying today, but now I gotta really put my head down in this race and reward these guys for working that hard.
I cannot describe my level of anxiety because I know what this means to Larry to win and to compete and be on this bike. So the pressure's on a little bit.
Coming up, the first race test of the season on Larry's new Yamaha.
Daytona makes me a little more nervous because of the high speeds and because of all the walls.
It's race day in Daytona, and after a rough start, Larry and the crew are ready.
Breakfast of champions?
Rice, a little bit of eggs, a little bit of bacon.
Another day, another dollar. Oh, I didn't get $1, did I?
The dollars are short after his qualifying crash, but the focus is now on the race.
Larry had to pull out the checkbook on this one, but they did a great job rebuilding the motorcycle.
And there is a look at Larry Pegram. As we said, a great rebound by not just Pegram, but the team getting that bike put together. As you said, it cost him a little bit of money, but he wants to go after it. Pegram taking advantage up into 4th.
Start of the race went perfect, got a great start.
Pegram is really looking strong on that Yamaha in 4th.
Got right up into 4th place and decided then that the only way to do this right was to be on the podium at the end of the day.
When he's in 4th, I just know he can get in 3rd. If he's all the way in 4th, get up there, at least make 3rd or 2nd.
Then the defending series champion and race leader Josh Hayes has to pit with mechanical problems. Larry moves into 3rd place.
When we got into 3rd and I knew I had a pretty good lead on 4th, at that point I started thinking one thing. I said, don't screw up and fall off this thing again. You've already done that. But it was a great feeling because that's where we needed to be for the weekend, and to know that our very first race out we were going to be back on the podium again was just going to make all the decisions that I made over the winter to go with Yamaha worthwhile.
I was going to say, what a story this will be after that crash. This private independent team putting in the effort to get that bike built back up again and running in 3rd, potentially a podium in his first race with the foremost Yamaha. What a great story, and just great to see it. And he's one of the guys in the paddock. He's fun.
I felt fantastic. I think on any given day, if Larry decides to, we can win. But just to get up in there after the problems we had and everything, I thought it was the greatest thing there ever was.
I was a little bit nervous, probably more so than normal, being in 3rd place. I'd been there many times in the past, but we hadn't got on the podium for a couple of years, and after all the crash and everything, I definitely was a bit nervous being in 3rd until that race was over.
not only was it a new bike, but there was a lot more pressure from everyone around Larry on this bike and, you know, all about the bike. And I think that put some pressure on him as an athlete to perform.
Heather has been, for me, just been that rock that's always there, positive, constantly, just positive all the time.
I don't know how to explain it, but like I just almost go numb of, I can't think of anything negative.
Everybody wants to win, but I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking, as soon as I wake up, how to improve things so we can win races. Now, when I go to bed, I'm thinking about how to improve things to win races. I don't know that I could want to win any harder or more than I do. I feel really good. This Foremost crew, they worked their butts off last night. I had to apologize for throwing the thing on the ground yesterday, but I was one of many, I guess, that did that. But to come back and get third today makes up for it. You know, I felt like I probably could have tried to run with Heron and Cardenas, but I was real timid today and wanted to just kind of walk before I run. And tomorrow will be a little bit better, I think. Got to go up here. Where am I going? I haven't been here in so long. You know, we've always been the underdogs, but at the end of the day, we can run with the factory teams.
On their first outing on the Yamaha, the team finishes third.
That was a crazy race. I mean, he ended up third. There it was. We were on the podium, and we had so much anticipation for him to be on the podium, and then he actually did it.
To celebrate after the race, Heather and Larry decide to cruise Daytona. On what else? A motorcycle.
You know, one of the rewards for getting third place at Daytona was getting my boys at Yamaha gave me a Star motorcycle to take out for a cruise and put Heather on the back and just relax a little bit, have some fun with the wife, and on a cool bike too, I'll say.
Hold on.
He's going 200 miles an hour, and now we're just kind of, you know, riding around in the traffic like it's no big deal. You have to understand that Larry, his drive and the thing that really gets him is the speed and the adrenaline of going that fast and controlling the bike at that speed. With Larry, I feel pretty comfortable. I mean, I feel safe with Larry.
Coming up, the final race of the weekend for Pegram Racing.
I need to improve on my riding a little bit too. I was riding a little bit like a sissy yesterday.
Pegram drives the Foremost Yamaha down underneath, braking deep into that left. He's got the inside line. Pegram is into second.
At Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin in 2009, the Superbike race on Sunday came down to a duel between Larry Pegram and six-time champion Matt Mladen. Mladen's teammate Blake Young had the best seat in the house, but couldn't get close enough to affect the outcome. The straightaway power of Pegram's Ducati gave him the edge on the Elkhart's high-speed stretches, but the nimble Suzuki and the Australian riding it time and again snatched the lead back on corner entry. And so it went, right down to the final lap. A seesaw battle waged between two crafty veterans. Mladen held a record 81 wins in the class, including the day before, but it had been a 10-year dry spell for Pegram atop the podium. Desire certainly played a factor in the final outcome, and Larry was not to be denied. As he gave the mighty Ducati its head on the way to the checkered flag, those years were erased in one thrilling moment.
After race one, I knew that, you know, we had got the podium that I basically was coming to Daytona to get. And I felt like if I would have rode a little bit harder in the first race, we had a chance to win it.
When he got in third place, it was like a win. I just kept praying, just stay up, don't you dare try to move up, just stay there. And I think the team probably was the same way. You could see like everybody was just real tense. And on that last lap, oh my God, I was like, I thought my body was going to explode. I'm sure everybody was feeling it because it was awesome, awesome.
I'm not as nervous today because we got our first race out of the way. Not today. I'm not as nervous. I just want to see what we do now after today. Yesterday was so good.
Now I know where we stand, so we're ready. Just all up to the guy now, and he looks like he's ready.
Race 2, we got all the crashing out of the way. We got the podium out of the way. Now let's just go out and try to ride hard.
Good launch by Josh, also by Cardenas, but again, Herron slots right into second. Cardenas pulls down into third around Roger Hayden, who actually gets swamped by Pegram as well.
Josh Hayes nailed the start right there. Larry Pegram in a great spot in fourth right there as well. So he's going to try to repeat what he did or maybe one better today.
I got a good start in the second race, and I was in fourth, and I was just trying to run with the group, and they were just inching away from me a little bit. And I knew, I was like, if I don't stay with these guys, I'm not going to get a podium.
It's clear one of the reasons he was able to get to the podium was the problem for Hayes, certainly. But Pegram said, we heard it in the interview, that he was a little timid yesterday, with good reason, I might add, and today willing to let it go a little bit.
Well, I think what you're saying, he's kind of about running the same pace he ran yesterday, and that's where he's comfortable. You know, earlier in the day we're racing, right there he almost ran off the racetrack, so he's got to keep it together. The last thing he wants to do is have to spend more money. He wants to get points here. It's a long season, Greg, so he's doing the smart thing right now.
I mean, it's a huge risk for me this year to go out there and spend the money to get the best bike on the track. But I've got a great sponsor in Foremost, and I got to win races for them, and this is the way I think we can do it. So it's a big gamble, but as long as I do well, the gamble's going to pay off.
Got that carrot dangling out there in front of him now, so let's see if he can get a bite of it.
He's a hungry bunny.
Yes, he is.
Right there behind.
He's doing a great job.
He is. That's such a great story. I mean, one of the reasons, as I understand it, Scott, he went to Yamaha was they said, we're going to give you some good support. And when he needed it after that crash, they stepped up. But he has too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he loves this motorcycle. I talked to him after the first time he rode it, and he just all smiles. From coming off the BMW, every time he went to the throttle, he felt like the thing was trying to kill him. The Yamaha is so user-friendly. It puts the power to the ground with that cross-plane crankshaft, and you see how the success that Josh has had, and now when you see a rider get on something this good, how easy it makes life for you.
Oh, and a Hayes has a huge issue. We're getting reports. It looks like a major engine issue.
I didn't know Josh was out of the race. I didn't know until after the checkered flag. I mean, what happened was we were out there and I was racing so hard with Herron, and I thought I was racing for third place, which is the only way that I make money is if I get in the top 3.
Now, Larry Pegram realizing this might be a battle for second place. He is all over the back of Josh Herron, and Herron runs a little wide. Pegram drives the Foremost Yamaha down underneath, and looks like he may have had it. Now it's going to be a matter of breaking deep into that left. He's got the inside line. Pegram is into second.
Well, most of the guys that I race with, Josh Hayes, Cardenas and Herron, really are new guys to me. They're younger kids coming up. But I know from watching how they race and what they're doing, they know what they're doing. When you're racing at Daytona this year, we were 206 miles an hour on through the trial wheel. So you got to trust the guy basically with your life.
Boy, you know, I mean, he had the run coming up on Pegram, and Pegram for the longest time was able to stay right there. Finally drops back that one spot, settles into third behind Herron.
I think it was about midway through the race I saw Herron coming back to me, and I decided then I was going to go for it, and I started riding harder and more aggressive, and I knew that we need to be third place without somebody dropping out.
Now it's just focus on Herron as you've got just over a lap to go at this stage as they're working their way back through that twisty infield section and now back up onto the banking, and that run through the chicane and through the tri-oval.
The thing about Daytona is you don't want to lead off the last corner, so to speak, because you have that big banking in front straightaway.
Now this is the battle. Herron and Pegram going for second and third.
And he slowed down on the last lap.
I'm not sure that's the right strategy. To give him a chance to feel it out, you also got to think, is Mini Josh like savvy enough to wait to pass, or is he going to pass him right out of here and Larry drafts back? You know what I mean?
They're playing the game now. He's going to sit behind him. He knows he can draft past Larry at the finish line. He did it a couple of laps ago. So instead of being that guy in the front, he decided possibly let me be the guy behind. He's gonna set Larry up right here.
I decided coming out of the chicane to let him back by early so I could draft him, which was perfect.
Larry now into that toe. He's got the run. He's coming up. Can he do anything with it? He is tucked right in behind as they come in. No! Not quite enough, but what a great run by Larry Pegram.
Oh, yeah. My favorite. Just change that haircut.
I saw Larry catching me, and we had a nice battle there to the end. It was pretty cool.
I had a real lonely race there in the middle, and then I seen him make a little mistake, and I got the bit between my teeth, and I didn't even know that Hayes had went out, so I thought that was the battle for the podium. So I did everything I knew about doing. I think I had him outsmarted on the last lap, but we need to add weight to those kids. You know what I mean?
2 podiums at Daytona is a fantastic start of a year. To get back onto the podium, to be back in there, to have our name back up there is, yeah, it's pretty emotional.
Just to be in Daytona and to perform like that at Daytona is amazing. Daytona is one of the hardest tracks, I think, for a rider, and it was unbelievable.
So far, we're just ecstatic. The season's going perfect, you know, first 2 races, 2 podiums. We're right there racing up front. Good start, you know? Good start to what's gonna be a good season. When I get off the bike and I see my girl's face, they're so happy if I finish. Daddy finished 10th or Daddy finished 3rd. They love Daddy. So that's been one of the big lessons that I've learned over the last couple of years is I'm always trying to not live my life based on the last race, and they could care less.
After that race, have a kiss. We all need it. I love you.
After what could have been a disastrous start to the season, Pegram Racing scores 2 third-place finishes and look to be contenders for the championship.